Welcome back to Black and Classic Podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Monet, where we discuss all things politics and pop culture. Up for today, we have some local news with our Connecticut governor who still can't get this budget right, and now there's a new deficit. We also will jump into some headlines. We got a little bit of politics. We'll talk about Trump and his issues with BB. And then, yeah, there's a lot going on. And of course, we're going to talk about Diddy and his trial. We'll talk about Tory Lanez and all that he has going on, as well as Haley and DDG. With that being said, let's get into it.
That blackness, that black power, that black pushing them to identify with black culture. I think that's what you're asking. I have no.
So, first up, I just want to get this out the way. I know I wasn't here last week. But what had happened was I was away on a work thing and I thought I would be able to squeeze it in. Couldn't squeeze it in. Then I said, you know what? Maybe I'll just go live when, I was in Texas. When I get to Texas, maybe I'll go live and just, do a quick little pop in. Obviously, that did not happen. Okay. Time just got away from me. Life be lifing. Cut me some slack. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm back. I'm here. We got a lot to talk about. So please just give me a little bit of grace, okay? Just a little bit. But with that being said, let's recap not last week's episode, but the week before, because there was a comment from Daniel Anderson 3286, and he said the internet is good and evil at the same time. I actually know someone who went down the rabbit hole. To cut a long story short, he got turned out. Daniel, what you mean by that? He got turned out. Now listen, I already know. I know what you mean. I'm joking. But I do believe that this is more common than people think because again, like to Daniel's point, you go down this rabbit hole and now your algorithm becomes the thing that you were just curious about. You were just trying to understand or get a better idea about it. And now your whole algorithm is telling you this is what the majority of the world feels and thinks. And now before you know it, you're sucked up in it. Okay. And now it becomes your reality because every time you open your phone to scroll, to go to TikTok, to go to Facebook, Instagram, whatever, every single thing is showing you the same thing, especially if it's part of the meta universe. Every single thing is showing you the same thing over and over and over again. So, and what happens is like you'll be on TikTok and find a creator, and then you'll go and follow them on Instagram. So now, in some ways, right, that algorithm gets carried over because you're just following the same people, and that algorithm is going to basically learn what you liked on TikTok, and it'll just be mixing and mingling, you know what I'm saying? And now you just think this is the way of the world and this is what everybody does. And no, it's not. So, Daniel, I totally understand. The internet is a dangerous place and the people do get turned out. Now, with that being said, let's jump into some local news. So, like I mentioned, and I want to say last episode or maybe the one before it, the Connecticut Governor Ned Lamont, he was having issues with the budget. They couldn't figure it out, okay? They had a high budget and yeah, no, the state is broke and they can't afford nothing that they were proposing. But as the story has developed, now Medicaid is in a crisis because they need $300 million. They being the state, need to come up with $300 million so they can pay these providers. They don't got the funds. And it's crazy because, like I mentioned last time, a lot of this can be figured out. Now, granted, do I think taxing the rich is going to solve a $300 million deficit for Medicaid? No. But do I think it will help us get to a better place financially over some time? I would say maybe 4 years. Yes. But a lot of these politicians are scared to do what they need to do. And so we end up in these situations where Negotiations for the budget is on hold. Medicaid is in crisis because no one knows what to do with the money that they have, right? And then no one wants to piss off the rich, so they piss on the poor. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really I mean, honestly, it's not even older people, but for a lot of it, it was older people who were on Medicaid. It was those people needing, the state to provide that health benefit. And now damn near look like they ain't gonna have it. The governor, he's being very stubborn about following these guidelines and making sure that they stay within these financial parameters, which I understand, but also, bro, it's a deficit, and we can't we honestly cannot play about people's health insurance. Okay, so I would love to see them get that figured out. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to this. This is why I stress all the time why it is so important for you guys to get involved in your local politics, to know what's going on, because this is something that will affect a lot of people. And if you just ignore it, next thing you know, grandma calling you because she needs some money for her insurance bill that they just sent her. So we definitely need to pay attention to these things because it is very important. And yeah, these people don't be knowing what to do with the money, and they be scared to do one thing to piss off these other people when we are the ones who suffer the most. Crazy. And in speaking of politics, I will definitely just quickly speak to this. Trump. What's going on with you and BB, bro? Hmm? What's going on with you in Israel? I'm confused. I'm confused. Okay, you just went and did a whole tour, and you ain't reach out to your people, your folks. What's that about? Now, if you don't know, Trump did his first major foreign tour. Okay, he went to Saudi Arabia, he went to Qatar. They flew him out, and then he went to the United Arab Emirates. I feel like I always say that word wrong, but he went there. Okay. And he just skipped over and paid dust to Israel. I thought them was your people. See, no one is really discussing this the way I need them to. Granted, Candace Owens is on maternity leave. I don't know if she spoke about it, but I need people to speak about this. I definitely need to check in on the Jewish people over there at the Daily Wire who kicked Candace out, fired her. I definitely need to go and check and see what they're talking about, because this was their boy. Trump was their boy. So now for him to have this perceivable issue with Bibi Netanyahu, I definitely want to know what the field is thinking right now, because to me, it seems like they're in a little bit of a spat, a little bit of tension. I think each side promised each other something and it didn't get done. So now they're kind of like, I'm mad at you and you're mad at me. It's one of those situations. But Trump, I don't know if this is the man you want to piss off. I don't love that for you. I definitely want you to think hard and long about this. I know you tried to play hardball with the Chinese, and that was cute. Love that for you. I just don't think BB is the man you want to do it with. I don't think so. I think he gets off on war. So I don't know if this is a hill that you really want to die on. And then on top of that, you're doing shit that he kind of asked you not to do. You're lifting these sanctions. You're going around trying to get these hostages free. You are doing your thing in the faces of, Bibi Netanyahu. And then them as his enemies. He considered them threats. Okay? Qatar flying you out, bro. It's crazy, y'all. It's really crazy, and I just don't feel like anyone is talking about it. And I really, really wish y'all would, because It needs to be spoken about. What is the issue? What is the beef? I don't really like how this is being not talked about, like why is it so hush hush? What's going on? Why are you skipping out on Israel? Why are you not going? Why are you not visiting? You're sitting down with Saudi Arabia. Bibi don't like them. Like what's what's really what's really going on? I definitely want to follow this story. I feel like right now it's a lot of speculations because he just didn't go to Israel, but hey, maybe he's going to make some special visit to them. We don't know right now. But what we do know is that he sat down with some people that BB don't really fuck with. So, it's going to get interesting. If you guys have any thoughts, any opinions, any conspiracies, please drop them below. I love a good conspiracy because to me, there's always just a little bit of truth in a conspiracy. Okay. It's just sprinkled on there. You know what I mean? Like Salt Bay, it's just sprinkled on there, but there is something there there's something there. And I really want to know. Okay? The nosiness in me is dying to know why y'all beefed out like this, but in secret. It's so weird. But with that being said, let's jump right on into our headlines. So, first up, I just want to I feel like I talked to this man before, and I want to pull him back to the carpet and have a discussion with him. And that's none other than Tyler Perry. Tyler, TP, Oprah's best friend. We need to have a conversation, okay? Because here's the thing, right? You retired Medea. Love that for you because I did. I loved Medea, okay? And I remember the plays. I remember how good they were. I remember the messaging. Loved it, okay? You retired her, you let it go. Did a few other movies. They were good. They were cute. They were, a good movie. But here's the thing. Your love for this same Black struggling woman narrative is getting old and it's getting tired. I was scrolling my Facebook and came across which I thought was a joke. It was like an advertisement for a show called Divorce Sisters. And I said, "Oh, there's no way." Like I kind of laughed to myself because I'm like, "Oh my god, that's so funny." Someone created this like AI like fake show. But then something said, "Wait, that actually might be real." So I googled it. And indeed, Divorce Sisters is a show. First up, sisters. Why do we have to do that? SISTAS? Really? Really, Tyler? Like do we need another show to depict Black women struggling with love and being hard pressed to find love, or they don't need no man? Do we really? Do we really? Here's the other part. You're not even creative with the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, granted, now I won't hold you. Your new Netflix show, Beauty and the Black, I do believe it is called. That is a top tier soap opera because, the acting's not that good. The storyline is dramatic as hell. But we know going in, it's fictional and it's funny, and we can just watch and have a good key. However, when you do Divorce Sisters and you try to portray this as some real life issues that Black women and Black people are facing, stop. Black love is out here. It's real. It's prevalent. We'll get to shits later, but it's real. It's prevalent. It's out here. So we don't need these stories, Tyler. Like, enough now. Enough. Please, I beg of thee. Leave all of that nonsense to the Mona Scotts of the world. Leave it to the Zeus networks of the world. We don't need that from you. Okay? And what bugs me is like to me, you can be in line with, and I know you probably think you're better than them, but I just don't see how. Um, in line with like the Shonda Rhimes, Mara Brock Ali, Shit, I even throw Issa in there. And y'all know how I feel about Issa. Like, I even throw her in there. We don't constantly need a black struggle, okay? You can just give us a good story, and some of the characters or all of the characters just so happen to be black. Like, that's what type of show I want from you. Or if you do want to have one that's centrally focused on a black person, make it a little bit upbeat. Like, you have a new one coming out, Tyler. You got She the People, or She's the People, something like that, on Netflix. Looks like it's going to be great. Look like it's going to be good. Here's the thing also, right? With you, Tyler, what confuses me is you get on Netflix and you do these half decent, funny, just a cute little sitcom, a cute little soap opera. And then you get on BET Plus and you do all this nonsense. I can't understand what you're trying to get us to buy into. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, and I'm not into it at all. At all. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm over it. Please don't portray another black woman struggling in love and trying to find love and divorced, and she got to take care of all her kids and work and this and that. Please miss me with it completely, Tyler. I think you are too talented to keep resulting on these same tired storylines. Do something new. Do something refreshing. Beauty in the Black, super refreshing. Just, it was something that I wouldn't have even thought to be you, to be honest with you. It wasn't until the acting and then knowing that like it's damn near all Atlanta that it just made sense and it clicked. But other than that, move the fuck on, okay? And to the Mona Scotts and the Zeus networks of the world, move the fuck on. Can we get something that's like, even back in the day when we had College Hill and we had like Baldwin Hills and all of those different type of shows where there was a reality element to it, but also at the same time, you know, it wasn't like struggle. It was literally like we're just putting these people here and they're just gonna live their lives. And some episodes might be a little boring, so we'll send them to do an activity and let them have fun doing that. And some episodes, they're going out, they're getting drunk, they're partying, they're having fun, almost like a Jersey Shore type thing, real world type thing. Yes, that was great. However, when you have these Mona Scotts and these Zeus Network characters, and all they're doing is placing people in front of each other literally to fight. Like, we know you don't like this person, so we're going to bring them on cast. We're going to put you two together so you can argue and fight. It's corny and it is tired. Move on. We need more. Enough is enough. And I'm starting with you, Tyler. You're too talented for it. You're too talented. You say you write everything on your own anyway. Maybe, hear me out, you need to hook up with some other people. Go call the Wayans and them. They had two little cute little sitcoms that came and went. Go hook up with them. Y'all sit down at the table and figure some shit out. I'm sure the creative minds in there will come up with something fantastic. Y'all both got Netflix, obviously, deals or partnerships. Go work something out. But this whole divorce sister shit, cut it. We don't need it. We don't need it. We don't need it. Thanks. Next up. Now, the next things I want to get into, y'all, they're all kind of intertwined and intermingled, okay? But understand that when we're discussing this, we need to offer anyone going through this situation, right, grace, understanding, and we need to give them some time. Okay, we need to give them some time. First up, what I want to talk about, because this one struck me and I was like, what in the world? DDG and Haley Bailey. Now, what struck me about this one, it was first of all, I haven't seen them individually say anything. Like, I haven't seen them take to Instagram and get on their black screen and put a bunch of words. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen any like subs or anything like that. I haven't seen the messiness of it, okay? If it's out there, it's out there. But I have not seen it, right? So, with that being said, the headlines were coming out, and now my information that I got is from the Grio, where Hallie filed a restraining order because she said she's been physically and mentally abused by DDG. So she filed this restraining order. He has to be, I think, 100 yards away from her, something like that. She also, in this petition, asked the court to grant a litany of things. Here are some that I just pointed out. And I was like, what? She wants to make sure that DDG does not get Halo a passport. She wants to make sure that if DDG does go out the country, that he reports to, I guess, her or her team or whatever the fuck, that where he's going, what hotel, what flight, what time, how long, all of that. Which is crazy to me because, listen, if he can't get a passport for the baby, why you worry about if he going out of the country? He can't take the baby with him because he don't got a passport. So I don't know. That was crazy to me. Next up, she said that, what was it? Oh, she doesn't want DDG to go outside of LA County with Halo. She wants to make sure that he has no unsupervised visitation, but he could have visitation for 6 hours a week with a professional company, which I don't really know what that means. So she asked all these things in this petition to the court prior to their first court date, which I think is June 3rd or something like that. Now, here's the thing. When I read all this, I was like, okay, here we go with these buzzwords. I'm getting exhausted of the buzzwords, okay? It's always mental abuse, physical abuse, all of these different things. And what I struggle to understand is that I don't think it just happened when you had the baby, he got abusive. I would tend to believe that this was a pattern prior to, which means one, probably wasn't the best idea to have the baby. Should have used some type of protection. I don't know. Sue me if that's too crazy of a thought. So yeah, I believe a pattern would have been there prior to you having the baby. So maybe the baby wasn't the best thing to add to the equation. Secondly, if he were doing those things and then, you know, whatever, now you do have the baby, before the baby comes, let's decide to iron all this shit out now. Right? I know you're abusive. I know you're mentally abusive. I know, you've done all of these horrible things to me. I know you're a horrible person. Granted, I was with you for 2 years, but it is what it is. I know you're this horrible person. Let's get these things ironed out now before the baby gets here, before feelings and, things get confused. Let's get it ironed out now. To me, that makes the most sense. However, what tends to happen is someone has a pattern or a behavior that you might not too much like, but you believe as a woman, one day he'll change, he'll do different things, he'll be different, he'll live different. We're going to start a family, things are going to be different. And that's what you roll with. Had a baby, don't shit change. Don't shit change. And now all of a sudden you ready to end things and you ready to break up. Because I'm pretty sure after she had that baby, like a month later, they had broken up. Which again leads me to believe you thought there was some idea that he would change or things in y'all situation would be different. And it wasn't. Cool. So now that has happened, now that things haven't changed, your state of mind has changed because now you have a child. Your state of mind has changed. His is not. Now you're upset at him and you don't want him to really be a father. Because not for nothing, Haley, and I like you. You my Aries sister. Not for nothing. Everything that you would get online, or your publicist would say that, you didn't want him doing this, that, and the third, you would do. You would say you didn't want the baby to be exposed online while he was streaming, but then you'd get up and post the baby on your Instagram or on a YouTube or Snapchat or TikTok or whatever. Confusing there. You would, in this, you're saying you don't want to take the baby out the country, but you have also taken the baby out of the country. Confusing there. So again, what it leads me to believe, because sometimes we have to, the overall thing of this is look at what the evidence is, right? What's in front of you. What I'm seeing in front of me, Haley, girl, bring it in. Let me talk to you. You don't want DDG to be in that boy's life. That's just what I'm getting. I don't know if you're upset. I don't know if you're mad. I don't know if he really did dog walk you. I don't know, but it seems like you want to restrict that man from seeing that baby in whatever way you possibly can. And it seems like, again, I need more to go off of, but it just seems like you're throwing a lot at the wall in order to make sure something sticks. Because again, what I struggle with a lot of times, and this is not to not offer Haley grace, but my thing is like, if you know someone has a pattern of abuse and you have the opportunity to get out or to be successful and to be supported in getting out, take that opportunity. Don't wait until now you can kind of have your get back to be like, yeah, you did that to me, but now I'm going to do you worse. Let's not play those games, especially not when a child is involved. If you have actual like feelings of threat and harm for your child, then let's produce that evidence. But enough of this, let's just believe all women immediately. They can't do no wrong. You know, we have to believe them first and foremost, and we'll wait for the evidence later. You know, the man is guilty until proven innocent. Like, we have to let that go because it is not a good look. And then also, you have these times. That's why I said before, it's a very hard time for men because, you know, women will save receipts and then something that you thought was so normal for y'all's behavior, now out of context, okay? Out of context, it looks like everything she's now calling you is true. Because out of context, you look like a bad person. You look like a bad guy. And it might not be true or it could be true, but either way it go, it don't matter if we're just believing women first, which is very dangerous. Let's get some evidence, like real deal evidence, not Parkwood Entertainment, aka Beyonce's entertainment company, not them paying for the top of the top publicists and people to change the narrative about this young man to make sure he does not see his baby. Like, let's not do that because now you're mad at a decision that you made. Let's just not do that. Like, you made that decision. You may be mad that you're in that decision. You may be mad that you're dealing with the consequences of that decision, but that does not mean you get the ability to take it out on this man because you are upset. Girl, no. Girl, no. It's not right. Now, granted, I need more evidence. Maybe some evidence will come out and I say, damn, DDG, you was dead ass wrong. I'm open and willing to do that. But what I'm not willing to do is to just tear someone down and bash someone without any evidence just because a headline or two says that she was mentally and physically abused. Babe, you can't throw out buzzwords and think I'm going to just be like, well, out the trash with him, especially not when you petition to the court. All of this here, like, girl, to me, it looks like you just trying to hurt that man. And why? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did do something to you. Again, I need the evidence, but I don't too much love it and I don't too much like it. And with that being said, take a page out of old girl book. Okay. Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion, Kelsey, and Kelsey's bodyguard, I believe. Child, that's a whole nother saga. That's never ending. This case has been going on, I will not lie, I feel like since, bitch, was that 2020, 2021? This case been going on a long time, okay? This saga will not end. So if you don't know, let me fill y'all in. Tory Lanez put out on his Instagram that he was stabbed 40 times. His lungs collapsed. He was on a ventilator, but he's also doing good because he was talking within that same day. I don't know how that happened. But that happened. Then 12 to like 18 hours later, a press conference came out that Kelsey's bodyguard, I don't know why Kelsey had a bodyguard, but he came forward and was like, he can't have it on his conscience no more. Kelsey shot Megan, essentially. Okay. That's the long and short of it all, right? That's what happened. Now, here's the thing. A bunch of people, I was not, mind you, I've been on the I don't really care for Megan Thee Stallion bandwagon, been on it. And it was way before this Tory thing. I don't know. She just wasn't giving to me. Like when she first came out, chef's kiss, the girl was amazing. And then it was like a quick decline. And then this Tory thing happened. It was like, wow, you just dropped even further. And then she just kept dropping. And it's like she just can't get it back. But I digress. Megan, girl, throughout this whole saga, all you've done is drop little breadcrumbs that were lies. Whether you omitted the lie, whether it was a little white lie, or you just told a big fat lie, all you did was lie throughout this whole case. And which is even crazier, okay, is that when all this was happening, you went and posted on your Instagram to, I think, promote your tequila or something like that. Read the room, babe. Wrong time. Wrong time. You needed to go radio silent. Wrong time to start promoting some tequila because I don't want it. Okay. If it's going to get me to lying like you, I do not need it. Promise. So that's that with Megan. And here's the other thing, real quick, before I jump off into understanding the correlation between DDG and Tory Lanez. Megan, your music for what you want to be a rapper, right? It's going to struggle because you ain't right within. Ain't that Lauren Hill who said that, right? How you gonna win when you ain't right within? Yeah, girl. It's gonna be very hard for you to win. That music is going to stay trash. It's going to sell absolutely nothing. People will go to your tour because they like you and they want to believe in you, but like the more and more that happens and the more that is revealed, girl, you just need to go ahead and sit right back down with Gail like you did last time and told them lies. Sit right back on down with her. Actually, you could go to space with her since she's an astronaut. And then you could actually tell the truth. The truth as you know it. Not lies. Not I didn't fuck him. Not Kelsey wasn't fucking him. Tell the truth at this point, girl. That's the only way to right yourself, because the shit you own and acting like, this did not happen, or it was him, I should say, is off. It's off. We can clearly see it wasn't this man, or it wasn't his intent, really. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know what bullet at what point for who fired is the one that grazed your foot or whatever the fuck. So yeah, now is the time to come out and get back right. Okay, it'll put you back on the right course, because right now you're off and you're trying all these ventures and they're not working. They're not working, honey bunches of oats. Okay, you are trying to go pop, you are trying to go K-pop, girl. You tried to get into the anime world, now you're trying to sell tequila. You're just doing all of these things, Megan, and it's not working because deep down you was on some fuck shit. You were. And I granted, same team as Haley, clock it. Same team as Haley. So y'all are being advised to go about this in such the wrong way. We can't paint just the black man as the monster, as the one that's bad, unless you have the evidence to support it. Megan, your evidence, girl, it's weak, it's shaky, it's not there. It's not there, babe. And at every turn, more and more comes out. And you just keep ignoring it and keep trying to live on this Tory shot me hill. It's over, girl. It's over. And then what's also crazy, and this is why I don't understand how people aren't like a little confused, especially her fans. Why does Kelsey have immunity? No, I'm going to let you guys answer that. Go ahead, drop it in the comments. Why does she have immunity? I don't typically remember innocent people getting immunity. So, like, if I didn't do anything, I wouldn't go into a precinct or sit down with no prosecutor and be like, yeah, well, if y'all give me immunity, I didn't do anything. So I don't I don't too much understand why I would need immunity. But to bring these two things together, right? DDG and Tory Lanez are in this weird time where the Me Too movement has just transformed the way of the world, where we're no longer allowing people to get their just due in court. No. Way before then, court of public opinion is going to convict you. They're going to hold trial over Instagram and make sure that they know that you are at fault. It don't matter if we don't got no evidence. All we need is just a little bit of a breadcrumb and we'll make it happen and we'll get it done. Okay? All we need is one little screenshot, one little something that looks a little too fishy. Maybe that's a bruise, maybe it's not. We don't know. But what we do know is that we're going to believe whatever the woman says, whatever Hallie says, whatever Megan says, we're going to believe them. Whether that's Rock Nation or Parkwood, same management. We're going to believe them and you're going to be guilty. And then as evidence comes out and, we find out, you might actually be innocent. Oh no, don't think that we're going to yell your innocence as loud as we yelled that you're guilty. No. We're not going to yell that at all. What we're going to do as the court of public opinion is we'll just frequently be like, oh, did you hear Tori's new song? It's really good. Oh yeah, it's really good. And then we'll just act like it's all gonna blow over and we're gonna just forget about it. That's what the court of public opinion does. They convict the man. Before we get any evidence, they convict him. And he's at fault and he's guilty until we see the evidence. And then, and only then, will we say he's innocent. And then and only then will we do nothing or say nothing about the woman. She gets to go off and dilly-dally. She gets to go off and dilly-dally, child. She done lie, had this man up in jail, had this man away from his son. She'll sit down for 2-3 months and then she'll pop back out, twerking, shaking ass, and all will be forgiven because that's what happens in the Me Too movement. And it's so dangerous because then we get to the Diddy trial. And we get to the Diddy trial where now Cassie was on the stand for 4 days, 3.5 days. And court of public opinion. What a thing. Because now public opinion is, well, Cassie wanted it. She was a participant. She was complicit. She was staying because she wanted the perks. She wanted the benefits of being with a rich, wealthy man. And yeah, any trauma, grooming, abuse, we don't care about that. We don't care about that. Oh, the video of her being beat up, well, shit happens. That is the messaging for the court of public opinion, which to me is crazy because first, let me just say, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with this Rico. What's going on with this Rico? Because all we talking about is how he's so freak nasty. I get it. I could look at Diddy and think he freak nasty. I always thought Wendy did tell us that he was a little, gay. But we don't need all this information to know that man freak nasty. We can listen to the interviews. He was calling grown men daddy, telling them he won't take them shopping and, oh, you don't party with me and all this, that, and the other. Babes, we knew something was off about Diddy. We did. We did. Like, we did not need all this other information about the sores in her mouth and the going 96 hours. And we just did not need all of that. Now, it only makes sense if you're, as a prosecution, Your goal is to paint him in a certain light, to kind of knock him off that pedestal in people's mind and to be like, no, he's a monster, he's gross, he's despicable. Then it makes sense. Other than that, I don't understand why it's necessary as to the sex trafficking and the RICO. I just don't get it. Some parts, yes, when they're saying, and asking her about flying different escorts in and paying escorts off and all this other stuff. Yes, that makes sense for sex trafficking, but all the other stuff is just fluff and it's just there for our entertainment. And to me, this is not that entertaining, especially because this is some traumatic shit. This is so traumatic. And everyone is just jumping. When I say everyone, for real, black men, y'all are just jumping over the traumatic part of it. Here's how I look at it, right? This girl was 18 when she got introduced to this world by way of Ryan Leslie. I don't know the full story, but I know at some point, when she was still young, she got hooked up with Diddy. Cool. From then on, it was 10 years. And I would say 10 years plus because he still, when he was out, he was like, throwing little shots at her, like wishing her a happy birthday or shouting her out on stage. Like it was always these little things that he would still do. So I felt like there was still that very real like connection and soul tie with them while he was out and they were still like separated. But again, she was with him from a very young and impressionable age where her mind is not fully developed. And that's where we have to start this. We can't start it at, her being in her late 20s and her 30s and then being like, that's the person that thought about this the whole time. No, this started as a teenager. Okay. And then she grew into this. So for me, it's almost like a cult like type of thing because she was introduced into this world that she never knew, right? Never knew nothing about this world. And she's introduced to it. And of course, when you're growing up, especially as myself, as a girl from Connecticut, these things are their glitz, their glamour, there's PJs, there's champagne, there's parties, there's money, there's all these things, and it's amazing and it's great until it is not. And that's the part that people miss. When you are introduced into a cult, they kind of they bring you on a high, they get you addicted to that life, they get you addicted to what it is, they sell you on a dream, and then before you know it, you're slowly breaking down what's natural and what's normal to you, and you're adapting to this new normalcy within this cult and things that you thought you never would do, you are doing because now it's around you and this is just what everyone does and this is what I see. So this is normal. This is my reality. So yes, when you see the text messages, especially some of them where she's like, I want to do an FO or we should do a freak off or I'm horny and all these things, that's her normal reality. On top of that, we don't know, especially when you're dealing with someone who is in a domestic violence and like a really like insidious form of abuse like that, that can be her trying to be like, I want to stay on his good side. I want to make sure he's not mad at me. I don't want to get my ass beat this week. So let me, do the things that he likes, do what he, wants, say what he wants to hear. So if I stay on his good side, I'm good. Do I want to go and do this freak off for real? For real? No. But, I'll say that to him. So that way, at least, I might have to be freaky for a little bit, but I don't gotta get my ass beat. I don't gotta have a swollen lip. I don't gotta have a black eye. I don't gotta have a broken rib. Might have a sore cooch, but I don't have everything else. Understood? So that is a little bit of that abuse mentality where you're doing things for survival. You're not doing it because you want to, you're doing it for survival. And then if you are doing it for because you want to, again, it's become your normal world. And that was never so clear to me from when she was arguing with someone, she was reading the transcripts on stand, and one of them was like, I'll effing kill you. And you know, the blood won't be on my hands. I'll get someone else to do it. When she said that, I said, oh, Cassie was far gone, girl. Cassie was far gone because she was living out what was normal around her. That was normal for her. It was normal for her to hear those things, to see those things, for those things to be happening. So to then not give that girl grace, now that she's out of it and she's, probably still in therapy and processing all the traumatic things and being like, no, what you did wasn't right. And I don't I want to be compensated for the shit I went through. You feel me? Like, I know how much money you got. I know what I can say about you. And I want to be compensated for that because that actually was not normal. That was not normal. I tried to get away. And do you know that, statistically with DV victims, they do try to get away countless times before they are able to, or before they are killed, before they are able to, right? So it's like, yes, she tried to get away. Yes, she tried to seek other things. Yes, she tried to, date other people or what have you, but she was attached to this life. That's what she knew. That was her normal. So to then go and try to portray it as if this girl was just like loving it is crazy. Like, no, they just fought sometimes, but she loved it. No, I believe Homegirl was groomed up into some shit and she was just there. Like, I don't think it was her like consciously making the decision to be there. I think she was just in the motions and just dealing with it. And again, this is different from DDG and Tory because the evidence is there. We didn't have the evidence, okay, with Tory and DDG like we do with Diddy. Like, there is some evidence here. Granted, I still want to know about this Rico and sex trafficking, how they're going to tie it up. Because if you want me to believe he's guilty of something, show me that he's guilty of the charges and the indictment that you have against him. Not that he's guilty of being a freak and being nasty. Like that. Okay. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we need a little bit more. Okay. I want to hear about him, the crazy things, right? Like, that's what I want to hear about when it comes to his business and how he's running his business. If it's a Rico case, I don't care nothing about his sexcapades with Cassie. I don't. That was traumatic for her. It was probably traumatic for everybody that had to listen to it and hear it and watch it in the courtroom. I don't care that much. I'm sorry. I don't. I give grace to her. I know she probably went through some traumatic shit. I do. And I'm so sorry the narrative online is that she is just in love with this and wanting this to happen. I hate that for her. But yeah, we'll see. I want to hear about the Rico. I want to hear about the business dealings, right? Who's involved, who's linked up with who was, just in that real, if it was a crime, a criminal organization, like, talk about that. That's what I want to hear about. But that's neither here nor there. If you have listened this long, I love you and adore you because let me tell you, this is my second time doing this because I recorded it previously and did not realize that my mic was muted the entire time. But because I fucks with y'all, I sat down and I did it for a second time. Yes, I did. I surely did. So if you're here, please like, comment, share your thoughts down below. Don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, let them come into our community because all opinions matter to someone who I don't know. Because like I always used to say, you can debate anybody but me. Debate your granny, debate any fucking body but me because me, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to debate you. I'll listen to your opinion, but debate never. And with that being said, I'm going to talk to you guys next week. It's a holiday next week, so I definitely should be able to get something done. For sure. I won't leave y'all hanging. I promise. All right, y'all. Bye.